Principles of selling. Hi guys, welcome. I am Emmanuel, your real estate coach. You can call me Coach Manny. And today we're going to be taking you on an important title, Principles of Selling in Real Estate. In fact, Principles of Selling in Anything. This is Vatican Realtors Academy. This is the Business and Real Estate Masterclass. We hold it every Thursday. So you can join us on the side. We're at Hallmark Plaza, located along Udoka Express, or you can join us online through my Facebook handle, and it will also be posted on YouTube. So, principles of selling. Robert Louis Stevenson once said something, said, everyone lives by selling. Everyone lives by selling. What does it mean? It means that selling is a way of life. You know, some people will say, I'm not a salesperson, so selling is not for me. But do you know that everybody is selling something? Be you a doctor, be you a lawyer, be you a housekeeper, you are selling something. The doctor is selling his market for you. He's selling his drugs. He's selling the hospital for you. The lawyer is selling his own merchandise for you. That is his law firm. He's selling his own personality so that you will take him as his barrister. No? So these are all selling. Now let me even shock you. Do you know in your personal life? In your personal life, you are selling. Let's say to your brother, you tell your brother, oh, I know this place that is very nice. That's selling. I know this place that is very nice, and it will be good for us to go for a lunch. You are selling. If you are married, you've sold yourself to your wife. That is selling. So selling is something that everybody does. It's just that some people are now called salespeople, but selling is a life skill. That is what I'm getting at. Selling is a life skill. So this particular series, which we are going to have for 4 weeks, every Thursday for 4 weeks, will be hinging on selling, not just real estate. You can apply these principles everywhere. So what is fundamental about selling? What is the fundamental principle about selling? Like Robert Louis Stevenson said, everyone lives by selling. Now, selling goes beyond transactions. It's about building relationships. Selling is about trust. Getting the other person to trust you in order to buy from you. For example, in a relationship, you get the other partner to trust you in order to buy into who you are, in order to buy into your dreams, your ideas, and say, okay, I want to be your partner. That is selling. So everybody is selling. Everybody is selling something. It's just that sometimes we don't know it. Now, it is a skill that you need to learn. It's a life skill. So whenever you meet someone, you are selling. Whenever you meet someone, you are selling yourself. At the end of the day, the person leaves with an impression of you. That is how much you have sold yourself. It is critical for building strong relationships, as I've said. It is critical for convincing someone to try something new. It is critical for persuading even your kids to do the assignment. Some of you have kids, brothers and sisters, that you want to do their assignment, and then you are finding a way to make them do those things. That is selling. You want to find a way to persuade that person. Selling is actually persuasion. It is critical for negotiating a job offer, and then for selling properties to a client, as we are in real estate. So it's a life skill, and we're selling in our daily lives, no matter the career that you are in. You are selling your ideas, your potentials, yourself, your properties, etc. So today, we want to look at 4 important principles. Throughout this week, we are going to be looking at, throughout these 4 weeks, we'll be looking at 4 important principles of selling. And today we're going to look at principle number 1, which is sell to yourself. Sell to yourself. That is mastering the art of self-persuasion. What is selling to yourself? Selling to yourself means to build a conviction on yourself about a product. To build a conviction on yourself about a product. You can also put it as putting yourself in the shoes or in the mind, in the shoes of the client. That means I want to sell a product to you. Now I put myself in your shoes to know how you feel about buying that product. That is selling to yourself. So building a conviction within yourself about a product. If the product is not what you buying, it is not what you selling it. Let me repeat it again. If it's not what you buying it, it is not what you selling it. Now, people want to see that you are convinced about a product you are selling. You must be convinced about that product you are selling in order for someone to buy it. Let it be an idea, let it be a persuasion, something you are persuading someone to do. They want to see that you are convinced about it before you sell it to them. So, if you must sell in the right way, you must first sell the product to yourself. You must be the first client of your product, relative to real estate or whatever thing you are selling. But today we are concentrating on properties. So it is synonymous to wearing the client's shoes, as I've remarked. Why should you sell to yourself? Why should one sell to ourselves? Number 1, you see the product from the client's point of view. That means you understand why the client wants this product. You understand the client's specific needs. Now, let me say this. If you've not learned anything today, just know that selling is about meeting needs. It's about meeting people's needs. So you take interest in someone and meet their needs. That is selling. A client come and say, oh, I want to buy a property, so and so place. You take interest in the person's, in what the person wants to sell, and what the person wants to buy. You take interest in that person, and then you meet that need. So when you take interest, you have to absorb it and see, why does this person want to buy from here? You enter into the client's mind so that you will understand the client's point of view. That is how you can make sales very effective. Now, to sell to yourself, why? Number 2, you see value in what you are selling and therefore you develop passion. When you see value in what you are selling, you develop passion. I remember my first sales in real estate. I've always been marketing to an extent, but my first sales came after I bought my first real estate. And that was when I built confidence. I bought the piece of property and I understood the reason why I bought it, because I wanted to leave that land for a certain number of years and make money. And I saw the value in that place, that this is a very developing area. So the next time a client walked up to me and I was talking to the client about the property, I was talking with so much passion, with so much enthusiasm, because I have bought from that place. Now, you don't literally have to buy from before you can sell, but you need to sell it to yourself. So sell that idea to yourself. Why should this client buy this property from this area. Why should he buy that property you are marketing? You need to sell it to yourself. Okay, I am the client and I want to buy. Now, when you have become the client, you will develop enthusiasm for the value you are selling. Number three, it helps you to anticipate. It helps you to gather all the information about the product you are selling. So when you sell to yourself, you are able to anticipate, to know, what will this person ask me? What is this client looking for? That is anticipation. You know, there is something Zig Ziglar said. He said, winners anticipate, losers react. Winners anticipate while losers react. What does it say? It means that if you must make a sale, then anticipate to know what the client is going to ask. If you are going to lose that sale, then just react. That means don't anticipate, don't expect the client to ask you any question. And then when they ask you, you start saying, oh, let me go and ask, let me go and check. You have not made all the inquiries necessary. So when you sell to yourself first, you're able to anticipate all the questions, all the needs, all the desires of the client in order to respond timely when you meet a prospect. Why sell to yourself? You understand a client's pain point and you are able to address them. What are client pain points? Those are areas the client is finding difficult. Those are things that will make the whole process of selling rigorous for the client. So when you sell to yourself, you understand the pain points of the client, and then you are able to address it even before you meet that client. Why sell to yourself? It helps you to recognize the risks and the shortfalls in that property. You're able to recognize, oh, these are some of the risks the client will run when he buys from here. You're able to recognize the areas the client needs to fix timely, and then you address them very early. You also recognize the risks to you as the seller, and you address all those things very early because you have anticipated. Finally, why sell to yourself? It helps you to build confidence. When you've done all this, you will see that you have confidence when you are talking to a client. You're able to walk up to anybody and say, wow, I have this very nice piece of property. It's in a very nice location and I want you to buy it. You no longer think and say, I think. You say, I know. You no longer say, oh, I think this will be nice. You say, I know it's going to be nice. I know it's going to develop in so years. I know because you have bought it for yourself. Whether it's in your mind or physically, you have bought it for yourself. That is selling to yourself. So as someone in real estate, your first target should be to sell to yourself. Whatever property you are marketing, sell it to yourself first. Now, how can we sell to ourselves? How can we sell to ourselves? Part 1, brainstorming. So, in this part, you're going to ask yourself certain questions, and then the answers to those questions will help you to understand what you are selling and how you will respond to the client. Step 1, identify your potential client. Now, with this question, ask yourself, who needs this product? Like I said, it mustn't be real estate. It can be any other product you are selling. Who needs this product? When you identify the prospective buyers of a particular property, you can easily model your language to suit them. Now, the buyers of a property can be diverse, so you need to open up your mind. Maybe people in Onitsha main market need the product. Also, people from Germany and from abroad need the product. Now, you are able to say, okay, there are 3 or 4 or 5 kinds of people that potentially need this product. Now you realize that as you move further, the questions from each of them will be different. So you need to model yourself as a client from abroad that is buying this property. You model yourself as a client from Onitsha main market that is buying the property. You model yourself as a government related client that is buying the property. You model yourself as someone in the private industry that is also buying the property. And then from there you can understand how they view this property. How will they want to buy? So the first step is identify. That means ask yourself this question. Who needs this product that I'm selling? Then step 2 is to identify their needs. When you've identified the people that need the product, the next thing is to identify their need. So ask yourself this question. What do I need in a product? Now you have become the client, so you are asking yourself. For example, I am the client from Germany and I want to buy Vatican Garden Estate, the barrier. So the first question is, what do I need in Vatican Garden Estate, barrier? What are the value I'm looking for? What are the things I am looking for in that product? So you must identify what the client needs, that is you. Then number 2 question, why would I buy this property? What is interesting about the property? What is interesting? What makes this property juicy? What makes it interesting for me to buy it? Why should I buy this property in the first place? Then, what values does this property hold for me? What are the potential values? What are the values now? And what are the potential values in future this product holds for me? You're asking yourself as the client, what do I want to know about this product? What are the things I need to know before I can buy this product? That's the question you ask. Now, from that question, you'll be able to pick out potential questions the client is going to answer, is going to ask you. And remember, if you anticipate, that means you will give them an answer before they even ask. And even if you forget to give them an answer before they ask, when they ask, you already have your answer handy. That is the reason why you ask yourself these questions, in order to anticipate how the client will respond to you. So what do I want to know about this product? And will this product meet my need? Remember, we started with the client need. What do I need this product? What do I need in a product? Then, will this product meet that need? Sales is all about meeting needs. Sales is all about meeting needs. If you cannot meet the need of a client, then you have failed in sales. That means you won't even be able to close that deal. So ask yourself these questions in order to identify the needs of the client. Step 3, identify who you would buy from and why. So when you've identified the client who will buy the product, you identify the needs of the client that is buying that product. The next step is to identify who you would buy from if you are the client. So I need a property that is around school and I want to build a hostel for children. Now, who would I buy from? You are entering into the mind of the client. Who would you buy from? Question number 1, who would I buy from? It will ask you, what would I look for in a seller? What are you looking for in a seller? What are the specific things you want to know about a seller before you buy? You know, selling is about trust. If you can't build trust with your client, you won't be able to sell. So if I'm a client now, remember I'm from Germany, and I want to buy Vatican Garden Estate, Bavarium. What are the specific things I will look out for from the seller of Vatican Garden Estate? I want to know if they have sold to other people. I want to know if they incorporate firm, if they have been incorporated. I want to make sure that this is a firm that people trust. You know, all these things are the answers you start giving yourself so that you know how to react to the client and how to pitch yourself effectively to that client. So who would you buy from? What are you looking out for in a seller? And why would you buy from you? I'm asking myself the question, why would I buy from me? If I'm the seller, why would I want to buy from Coach Manny? Why? Is it because of how he would present it? Is it the presentation? You know, how do I want him to present it for me to buy? How do I want him to appear when I want to buy from him? How do I want him to appear online? All these things are what dictate why I would buy from myself. Then why would I trust me? If I am the buyer, why would I trust me, the seller? How will I show trust? What am I looking for in a real estate that I want to buy from to show that I can trust them? How would I like to be sold this? What are the strategies I will want the seller to employ in order to capture me? I've seen a lot of people market real estate to me, and I'll just sit there and wonder, if I'm the one buying, I will even buy from you. Sometimes it's like that. Because of how we present the market, the person will be like, no, I can't buy from you. Because you come in looking so poor and, you know, looking like you need the money more than you meet my needs. So why would I trust you, and how would I want this property to be sold to me? What avenues would I want the seller to reach out to me? How often do I want the seller to communicate to me? Now, you can always look at how you bought from other people. A friend of mine was telling me how she bought goods, that before she buys goods online from online marketers, she would make sure that she sees about 10 people that have confirmed that they've sold, that they've bought from this person before she will go to buy. Now, if that is you, and now you are the seller, how would you want the buyer to confirm that you've sold? You know, so you are now starting from the end to get to the beginning. Finally, why would I not buy from me? You must realize your own shortcomings. Your own shortcomings. Why would I not buy from me? What are the reasons why, as a potential seller, a potential buyer, I won't buy from myself? These are the things you need to know in order to identify who you would buy from and why. Who you would buy from and why. That is step 3. In step 4, you identify the client pain point. I've talked about it. Identify the client pain point with this question: what is making purchase difficult for me? What are the things, the shenanigans, the things that make the purchase process rigorous, that makes me not want to even buy again? As the seller, you are entering the mind of the buyer in order to understand how the buyer is thinking. Number 2, what will make this purchase easier for me? What are the things the seller can put in place that will make it easy for me to buy this piece of property? Does it need to, keep constantly informing me about how this is going. Does it need to do instrumental payment so that it will be easier for me to buy? You know, all those things are what will make it easier, make the purchase easier for me. Then what will make me more comfortable during the process of pitching and purchase? How will you make your potential seller? How will you make your potential buyer comfortable? What will make me more comfortable when I'm buying? When you are pitching your idea, how will you approach me in order to make me feel comfortable? How will you sell that product to me in order for me to be comfortable buying it and not feel like I'm being sold to? You know, all those things are what you brainstorm on. Remember, this is brainstorming session. So during your brainstorming section, you have a pen, a paper, you ask yourself these questions and you get to know the answers from the client. So we are having a little bit of trouble here. Okay, sorry about that. So when you are done asking yourself these questions, like I said, you get a piece of paper and you write down everything, the answers you got from yourself while asking yourself these questions. Now, these answers will form the structure in which you are going to relate with your client. Remember, in selling to yourself, you are entering the client's mind. So when you ask yourself these questions, you understand how the client is thinking, and then you are able to be able to model your selling for the client. Now, remember that you are not supposed to sell to the client the way you want to sell. You are selling to the client the way the client wants to buy. You don't sell to the client the way you want to sell. You sell to the client the way the client wants to buy. And the main idea of selling is to meet a need. So your idea of selling shouldn't be for you to make money, because that is where most people get it wrong. Your idea of selling is to be unselfish in meeting a need. Now, when you meet that client's need, you will see that the client will also meet your own need, which is money. So it's reciprocal, but you must concentrate on meeting the client's need. That is why you put yourself in the shoes of the client to understand how the client feels, to understand what the client is thinking about when he wants to buy this, to understand the values the client wants to buy, to understand the client's needs and desires. And then when you understand them, you are now able to relate to the client to towards those needs and then meet that need. So the idea of selling is mainly to meet a need. Now, when you are done with all these steps that has been enumerated in brainstorming section, the next part is to take action. That is part 2 now. You take action. After writing all this down, the next thing is to develop your value proposition from what you have already written down. Develop your pitch. That is your value proposition. Develop your dialogue with a client. So, if I'm a client from abroad, what is the potential dialogue I'm going to have with this client? Now, I used to advise people, you can meet up with someone, a friend of yours, and discuss it with the person as if the person is your client. That is the dialogue. So when you develop your value proposition is what value are you going to give in a very short sentence, maybe 1 minute to 3 minutes, your value proposition. Then the next is develop the dialogue. After the value proposition, how will the client respond? How will you respond? Dialogue. So you script a potential dialogue with a client. Script the potential dialogue with several clients. So if, like I said in the beginning, you have 4 clients. You have a client from abroad. You have a client from Onitsha market. You have a client from the government, that's civil servant, and you have a client from a private firm. So develop potential dialogues for these clients to understand how they will respond to you. Now, when you meet your friend, you play out these scripts and see how he responds. Then from this script, that is now your working manual in which you meet clients. I hope that is understood. So that is selling to yourself. Like I said, sales is a way of life, as I conclude. Sales is a way of life, and the right approach to selling begins with going into the mind of the prospect in order to identify his needs, his desires, his pain points, and then in order to meet and address them. That is selling to yourself. We'll take some questions, and if you're online, you can send us your questions online. But before we end today's session, I would like us to know 1 or 2 things about Vatican Garden Projects. This company is called Vatican Garden Projects. It's a real estate firm. We're into real estate development and management. We don't just sell land, we develop real estate. I like to tell people the difference between that. People that sell land, they might call themselves real estate companies, but they just sell land. That means they tell you there is a land here and we're selling it. And then after selling it, they hands off. So whatever problems you encounter in that land is now up to you and the client and the community and whatever is around. But we don't just sell, we also develop and we help you manage your property. So we sell estate. When you buy into any of our estates, you are guaranteed that there is no issues from the government or from the community. That is what we sell. We make sure that you have peace whenever you buy from us. Now, we are committed to offering top-tier real estate development in the Southeast. And how we're going to be doing this, we're selling lands and we're also selling buildings. So if you want to buy land from us, be rest assured that you're buying a genuine property that is fenced around in an estate, and you're buying it from an estate. So you're not buying community or family land. Then, what else? We are also into building. So after this, I'm going to also send some of our ongoing building constructions on my my Facebook, so you can follow up and see the buildings we are erecting in Enugu. Soon we'll be erecting in Anambra here in Ibariam and in our other properties. So we have real estate in various locations in Nigeria. We have our head office is in Enugu, and in Enugu currently we have about 4 estates. We have Vatican Garden Estate Phase 1, we have Vatican Garden Estate Phase 2, and then we have Canaan City Estate, Itukwazala. So any of these estates, that's 3 estates, any of them that you want to buy from, I will send you the link, and then you can click and make any of the purchases you want. Then here in Anambra, Oka, we have one selling estate, Vatican Garden Estate, Ibariam, which is located just beside Anambra State University, which is Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University. It is a very, very nice property, and I want you to buy it. Currently selling at 5.5 million. Very nice price currently, because soon it will increase maybe to 7.5. So make sure you buy just behind the school. Very nice location. We also have in Asaba, we have Vatican Garden Estate Phase 1 Asaba, Vatican Garden Estate Phase 2 Asaba. We have Canaan City Estate in Asaba too. That is 3 estates in Asaba. We have in Owerri, Canaan City Estate, Owerri. So any of these locations, I will be posting it on my platform very soon. Anyone that you are interested in, you can buy it. And what's more, you can also come in as a realtor. If you don't want to just buy, you can also sell for us. And then you sell, you make your commission. That is the way realtors make enough money. You know, being a realtor is very, very lucrative business. So you can sell any of our products, any of our estate, and you make your commissions from us. So we deliver premier real estate in all locations in the Southeast. So you can join us either as a client or as a realtor and buy from us. You can buy from us. You can also buy for your brothers, your sisters, your uncles. Maybe they are abroad, maybe they're in Nigeria. You can buy for them. And then when you buy, you are guaranteed peace and serenity. All our estates, there is no issue. So I want you to buy. If you have any questions from what we've learned today about selling to yourself or about the company, you can send me a DM on my WhatsApp 08167415417. You can also send it on my Facebook platform, on YouTube, and you can also reach out to the company website, vaticanprojects.com. vaticanprojects.com. That is VATICANPROJECTS.com. Thank you very much, and I hope to see your questions on the comment section in this video. God bless you. So are there any questions here?